Romans 16:17. Now I urge you, brethren, keep your eye on those who cause dissensions and hindrances contrary to the teaching which you learned, and turn away from them. For such men are slaves, not of our Lord Christ, but of their own appetites, and by their smooth and flattering speech they deceive the hearts of the unsuspecting. That's Romans 16:17. Okay, so when the Bible talks about flattery of the world, worldly flattery, I tend to think of figures like George Bush. Now, the reason why is because when Bush was in power, he I don't know if he was actually stupid. I don't think he was as stupid as the media made out, or he wouldn't have been in the job. But he perhaps wasn't the brightest president ever. But neither was Obama. Auto cue Obama. Now, the thing is, Bush was actually a neocon, and he didn't get the hatchet jobs that they're trying to do on Trump at the moment. But the liberal left kind of didn't like him because he was a big, old-fashioned sort of Texas good old boy. Now, they called him thick and kind of attribute his supporters as thick or lacking culture, these sort of hillbillies. And they say, this is the media, that you are cool, you are hip, you are cutting edge if you denigrate these hicks, these hillbillies, these unsophisticated, God-loving, right-wing Christians. You are now a great person. This is how they deceive. You will notice that flattery is not very natural to people who are brothers. When you go out, for instance, when I was a lad and I played sport with my friends, I was not telling them how great they were. We were both kind of, trying to get a leg up, a one up over each other, because we were both fairly good at the sports we played, but naturally you want to be the best, right? So you're not going to say, oh, you're great at this, blah, blah, blah. That will happen naturally. Now, when they do flatter you and you're thinking, why are they being so polite? I don't get it. But it gives you kind of a warm and fuzzy feeling inside, and that, my friends, is the sort of less intelligent whites who cannot understand the sort of, our rhetoric on the so-called Christian right. So because they're stupid, they kind of pick up any kind of flattery, these lefties saying, oh, you're sophisticated because you agree with us. And they think, wow, that's great, They love a pat on the back. And that is, leads on to my other quote. They love the praise of men more than the praise of God. I mean, do I need to say any more? John 12:43. For they love the praise of men more than the praise of God. So again, on that the same theme, let us look at Romans 33. Who shall lay anything to the charge of God's elect? It is God that justifieth. 34. Who is he that condemneth? It is Christ that died, yea, rather that is risen again, who is even at the right hand of God, who also maketh intercession for us. So, in other words, God and Jesus have the final say on everything in this planet, in this current earth age, which will end with the apocalypse. Do not worry if any moron, politician, or lawman says you are a bad person for your own beliefs. If you are truthful and one of God's elect, although it is important not to consider yourself that way. You should always be humble. But if you are, and you are preaching the truth, then God will justify you, and he will make intercession to keep you preaching his word. Let me give you another example. Now, after Brexit, right, there was some left-wing company production crew, very well funded, by the way. The film was professionally done. It depicts a sort of, quintessential Brit, sophisticated sort of liberal Brit, and he's got like a stack of bookshelves in the background and one of those globes, and he's super sophisticated, and he's saying, anyway, in the advert, he's saying, "Oh, the English sort of nitwits voted for Brexit, and don't make the same mistake and vote for Trump. Be sophisticated like me." But when you actually pick apart the arguments, you'll find that most left-wing thinking is a pseudoscience that conveniently ignores certain truths or trends. I will post a link to the video I'm talking about so you get a better idea. 1 Corinthians 3:19. For the wisdom of the world is foolishness with God. For it is written, He taketh the wise in their own craftiness. Okay, so as this very important Bible quote from Corinthians says, the worldly wisdom of the scientists and professors and things, they think that biblical knowledge is old-fashioned or simplistic, and they know everything, and anything they don't know, they have a pretty good theory for. Well, no, in reality, folks, most of these scientists that like to totally discount the teaching of the Bible don't have proof. There is no proof of how the world begun. There is no proof of anything that they say oftentimes. They are theories. So James 4:4. Ye adulterers and adulteresses, know ye not that the friendship of the world is enmity with God? Whosoever therefore be a friend of the world is the enemy of God. Now, most of these liberals, for instance, the celebrities who make these videos in black and white urging people to go and vote for anybody apart from Trump. Now, these people kind of consider themselves smart. They think it's smart, it's cool, it's clever to be a liberal, a progressive, a so-called cutting-edge type. In reality, God counts them as fools because they are caught up in their own sleazy egotism. When these people talk, you'll see they make grand statements without any evidence to back it up, and it's try and speak for the whole world, or at least 10 men. Such is their ego. These people are idiots, and they will perish in their own stupidity. God knows it will happen. Judgment Day is set to happen when God decides. We do not know the time, but we will know the season. And I think myself that the season is beginning to come into focus, as in the times of Lot. I think I have said enough for one day. My final thought, if you like, will be on the two issues that many of my right-wing comrades will be thinking about. Number one is the wall, the border wall, Firstly, yes, they have had prototypes made now, etc. But there is little proof that this is ever going to be done. And if it is done, they will have to make it the same all the way round or close to it. Otherwise, you will just have the same problems as before, where you have certain sections of wall that are easy to climb over. Okay, and the other thing is Brexit. Now, the people did vote for this, but the media and the left wing politicians have been cunningly trying to delay this process from taking place. Now, both of these issues, I am not really 100% sure that either will happen. They should happen because it's the will of the people in both cases. But as we know, the left do not give a fuck. Margaret Thatcher said she would get tough on non-white immigration, and so a lot of people who would have voted National Front went to Conservatives. And did she do anything? Did she? Heck. She took away British jobs from the miners, where we got overseas coal on the cheap. Was that done because, oh, we had to, because, oh, there's cheaper abroad? Bull fucking shit. She could easily have put a sanction on that trade and kept our own industry strong. Left or right, most of these politicians are com merchants. I really have lost a lot of faith in them myself. Anyway, guys, God bless and look after yourselves. Ta-ra.